Right now, it is incredibly easy to buy nitrous oxide at smoke shops, gas stations, and online. I was even able to purchase nitrous oxide canisters and have them shipped directly to the U.S. Capitol. No questions asked. Congress must act to protect people from this dangerous and deadly inhalant. That's why I introduced the bipartisan Nitrous Oxide Safety Act to ban the sale of nitrous oxide to consumers and close the loophole that's being exploited. While there are legitimate reasons for doctors, dentists, businesses, and industry to use this chemical, it has no business being sold in stores or online. That's what my bill would prevent, regardless of whether it has a warning label. It has been reassuring to see some states start to act, but we need federal legislation to address this truly interstate problem. No more parents should have to experience the devastation of losing a child to nitrous oxide. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Baird, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today recognizing Steve Keown, a retiring agriculture teacher and FFA advisor who dedicated 42 years to Carroll County and junior-senior high school. Mr. Keown received his bachelor's degree from Murray State University and a master's degree from Purdue University in curriculum and instruction. Keown mentioned and mentored countless future educators through the MyBAT program. Keown has served the Indiana Association of Agricultural Educators for numerous years. During his tenure, the Carroll County FFA chapter earned national recognition for over 20 consecutive years, produced over 200 recipients of state FFA degrees and nearly 60 American FFA degrees, over 50 proficiency champions, and more than 25 national finalists and winners. Mr. Keown's commercial and commitment to student leadership and hands-on learning has shaped success for FFA chapters in Indiana. His passion for agriculture, education, and mentoring others will leave a lasting impact on our community. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Tippecanoe County School Corporation's Extra Mile Award, and that winner is Deb Liggett. Deb Liggett is an extremely dedicated caretaker of students who drives 170 miles every day, taking students to McCutcheon High School, Southwestern Middle School, and Klondike Schools for over 40 years. She has been a dependable source of kindness and joy for Hoosier students. Our students need role models who are examples of reliability, compassion, and good citizenship. One kind-hearted person can make a difference in the lives of so many young people. Deb Liggett has been that role model in the Tippecanoe area. I am proud to congratulate her on receiving this well-known and well-earned award, and I'm glad our students have Miss Liggett on their way to and from school. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to congratulate the Ivy Tech Community College, which recently won 3 third-place awards in the U.S. Department of Energy's Battery Workforce Challenge. This challenge is a 3-year collegiate engineering competition where teams build an advanced battery pack for the commercial RAM ProMaster EV program. All the students who competed progressed through technical milestones that reflect the same trials the energy industry faces. Throughout the program, the students met demanding engineering standards without compromising safety. I am so proud of these students at my Ivy Tech who succeeded throughout the competition and provided real results on their work. Our nation needs innovative minds. The challenges we face are difficult and complicated, and I'm glad we have young Hoosiers who are ready to tackle these issues head-on and showcase the incredible talent we have in Indiana. Congratulations again, Ivy Tech, and thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Jackson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My reflections on the nation's 250th anniversary. Happy birthday, America. My friends, 250 years ago, a remarkable experiment was launched upon this continent. It announced to the world that liberty was a universal birthright. that governments derive their authority from the consent of the governed, and that human dignity deserved a political expression. It was a dream of uncommon brilliance. Yet on that very same day, another story marched beside it, a nightmare of uncommon cruelty. Freedom and slavery entered this history together in an unholy matrimony. The Declaration proclaimed equality while hundreds of thousands remained in chains. The promise was magnificent, the practice was monstrous. The vision soared towards heaven while the reality remained anchored in human bondage. This is not merely the paradox of America's founding, it is the permanent tension within the American story. Our republic has always contained both contradiction and conviction, hypocrisy and hope, exclusion and expansion, injustice and aspiration. And yet history teaches us something very profound. The greatness of America has never been that it was born perfect. Its greatness has rested upon its capacity to become better. Every generation has been asked a single question: will you enlarge the promise or will you shrink it? That question confronts us today. For what a nation chooses to remember becomes its operating system. What it chooses to forget becomes its character. Memory is not nostalgia, memory is infrastructure. It determines how a people think, how they govern, how they educate their children, and how they understand their obligations to one another. When a nation tells the whole truth about itself, it becomes stronger. When it edits its past for comfort, it weakens its future. History is not an accusation. History is instructional. History is not about assigning perpetual guilt. History is about cultivating perpetual wisdom. That is why institutions devoted to preserving our collective memory matter so profoundly. The National Museum of African American History and Culture is not merely a building of bronze and stone. It is one of America's greatest classrooms. It reminds us that the story of African Americans is not a chapter added to America's history. It is one of the central texts from which American history is written. African Americans in history makes American history whole. The labor of enslaved people helped build this nation's wealth. They built this building. The courage of abolitionists challenged its conscience. The sacrifices of black soldiers defended its flag. The determination of teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, clergy, laborers, and ordinary citizens expanded the meaning of democracy itself. To diminish those stories is not simply to diminish African Americans, it's to diminish America itself. Throughout our history, there have been recurring efforts to narrow the nation's memory. Certain voices have always argued that some stories are too uncomfortable, and some documents too inconvenient, and some truths too disruptive. That pattern is not new. It appeared after Reconstruction. It appeared during the long struggle against segregation. It also has appeared whenever honest history threatened comfortable myths. When debates arise over museums, classrooms, architects, monuments, historical interpretations, and books that are being banned in schools, we should recognize them as part of a much longer American conversation about who belongs within the nation's narrative. The stakes extend far beyond any single institution.